This video will give a quick introduction to arrays in F#, and I think the natural place of starting this discussion is to actually bring up lists again. So we made a video on that a couple of days ago, and we said that you can define a list by writing something like the following. We would use these square brackets in order to separate where the list starts and ends, and then we would separate the specific items in the list with semicolons like this. So that would be a fair definition of a list, and an array looks very similar in terms of definition. So if we have an array here, the way you would define that would be, with the square brackets, but then also these pipes inside of it, like so. And then similar to the way we did this for lists, we would separate the elements internally here with these semicolons. Now, there are a couple of things that separate lists from arrays, and the most notable features are that lists are expandable. So once you've created a list, you can actually append elements to this and make the list longer. Whereas an array, once you define it, it has a fixed length. So you're not allowed to change this after you're not allowed to change the size of this after you've initialized it. On the other hand, if you have a list like this and we try to reassign one of these elements, so let's say list at index location 2, and remember indexes in F# start from 0, so at index place 2, that would be this number here. If we try to assign that to a number of 1, you'll see that F# starts complaining. We're not allowed to reassign items in a list. But if we try to do the same for an array, you're going to see that we can actually do it. So element number 2 here, again, we do the exact same thing, like so, and then we set this to be equal to 1. We don't get a complaint here, and this works fine in F#. So the most important distinguishing feature, I would say, between lists and arrays is that for the lists, or for the arrays rather, you're allowed to change the parameter values here. So these are mutable data types, and that's something that's quite different from what we're used to in F#. We're used to everything being immutable and that you cannot change it. So besides being of fixed length and not being able to change the length of it, you can actually change the parameter values inside of the array. So that's a quick introduction. We're going to see different ways of initializing arrays in upcoming videos and different manipulations that you can do on them.